Imagine a world without cities, without written language, without weddings, rings, or even the word love. A world where survival came before romance, where danger waited beyond the firelight, and where every sunrise meant another battle against hunger, cold, and predators. And yet, even in that harsh world, humans fell in love. Long before temples and traditions, before poetry and promises, early humans formed bonds. They chose partners. They felt jealousy. They grieved loss. They cared for children together. The love story of early humans is not written in books. It is written in bones, in ancient campsites, and deep inside our DNA. Our story begins with early modern humans and their close relatives like Neanderthals. These were not mindless cave dwellers. They had emotions, social intelligence, and complex relationships. Attraction likely began much like it does today through biology. Early humans were hunter-gatherers. Strength, health, and fertility were extremely important. A strong hunter meant protection and food. A healthy woman meant higher chances of surviving childbirth and raising children. Over thousands of generations, humans evolved to notice signs of health such as clear skin, strong posture, symmetrical faces, and confident movement. But love was never just about physical traits. Humans survived not because we were the strongest animals, but because we worked together. Cooperation was everything. A partner who was kind, reliable, and loyal increased the survival chances of the group. Attraction slowly became emotional as well as physical. The first love stories were born from survival. There were no marriage certificates, no grand ceremonies, no gold rings. But evidence suggests that pair bonding existed. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer tribes who live lifestyles similar to ancient humans observe long-term partnerships. A man and woman often stayed together for years, raising children as a team. Human babies are helpless for a very long time. Compared to other animals, they require years of care. A single parent would struggle to survive alone while protecting and feeding a child. Early humans likely formed stable partnerships not because of religion or law, but because it worked. Love may have started as a survival strategy, but over time it became something deeper. Picture a cold night tens of thousands of years ago. A small group sits around a fire inside a cave. Outside, predators roam in darkness. Inside, there is warmth, laughter, storytelling. In this small circle, bonds grow stronger. When one human shared a memory or fear, others listened. This built empathy. Physical closeness also mattered, sharing warmth. Holding each other during storms, grooming one another, even today. Touch releases bonding chemicals in the brain. Those systems existed then too. Primitive humans did not write love poems, but they likely expressed love through protection, food sharing, and staying together during danger. In their world, saying I love you meant I will not leave you when the storm comes. Love was not always peaceful. In small tribes, competition for partners existed. Stronger males sometimes fought rivals, but violence was risky. Injuries could mean death. Groups discouraged constant fighting because cooperation was more valuable than dominance. Social intelligence became attractive. A good communicator, someone respected by others, often had better chances of forming a bond. Jealousy likely existed as well. If a partner left, survival chances dropped. Even tens of thousands of years ago, heartbreak may have existed. One of the most touching clues about ancient love comes from burial sites. Archaeologists have found skeletons buried side by side, sometimes positioned closely together. Some individuals were buried with flowers, tools, or ornaments. These were not random actions. They show care and emotion. In some ancient burial sites, injured individuals who could not hunt were found to have survived for years. That means someone cared for them, fed them, and protected them. Care is love. Even in the harsh Ice Age, compassion existed. Parenting shaped early romance deeply. Unlike most animals, humans practice cooperative parenting. Fathers likely helped protect and provide. Grandparents also played an important role. Older women may have helped feed and care for grandchildren, increasing their survival chances. Love expanded beyond couples and became family love. When early humans left Africa and spread across Asia and Europe, they did not travel alone. They traveled as families. Love traveled with them. Archaeologists have discovered beads, shells, and carved objects thousands of years old. Some were found far from their natural sources, meaning someone traveled long distances to obtain them. These items may have been status symbols, but they also may have been gifts. A small shell necklace in the Ice Age might have meant the same as a diamond ring today. Not expensive but meaningful. In early human groups, arranged pairings likely did not exist in the formal sense we know today. Social pressure may have influenced choices, but individuals probably had some level of selection. Studies of modern hunter-gatherers show that women often prefer cooperative and skilled partners rather than simply aggressive ones. This suggests that kindness and reliability have been attractive traits for tens of thousands of years. Love involved choice. If bonds broke, separation was possible though rare. Survival depended on cooperation. If a partner died, which was common due to disease or accidents, the surviving partner likely felt grief. Grief is proof of attachment. Emotional pain activates deep areas of the brain. That wiring evolved long before civilization. Primitive humans did not just lose partners, they mourned them. Modern humans still carry traces of ancient interbreeding with Neanderthals in their DNA. This means different human species formed relationships and had children together. Some of those relationships may have been brief, others may have been long-term. Love crossed evolutionary lines. Fire changed everything. Before fire, nights were dark and dangerous. After fire, humans gathered, talked, and bonded. Extended evening time strengthened emotional connections. Couples had more shared moments. Fire created space for romance. Over thousands of generations, pair bonding became deeply wired into human biology. As language developed, emotional expression deepened. Eventually, when agriculture began and permanent settlements formed, social systems around marriage developed. But the roots of those systems go back to the campfires of hunter-gatherers. Primitive human love was not glamorous. It was built on survival, trust, and shared struggle. Dopamine created excitement. Oxytocin built attachment. These systems evolved long before modern civilization. When a prehistoric man admired someone, his brain likely reacted in familiar ways. When a prehistoric woman felt safe beside her partner near the fire, her brain likely released bonding chemicals. Romance is ancient. We will never know the names of the first lovers. But imagine them walking along a riverbank, sharing gathered food, sitting close during cold nights, protecting each other during danger. They had no wedding vows, but perhaps they had something stronger. Choice. Without stable pair bonds, human babies would not have survived. Without families, tribes would not have formed. Without tribes, language and culture would not have grown. Love allowed cooperation. Cooperation allowed civilization. When we imagine primitive humans, we often see brutality and survival. But beneath that was something deeply human. In a world ruled by ice, hunger, and predators, the greatest survival tool was not strength. It was connection. The first love stories were not written. They were lived. And in many ways, we are still living them today. The story of early human love does not end at survival. It grows deeper when we begin to understand that primitive humans were not simply reacting to instinct. They were developing identity, memory, and emotional depth. Love was slowly becoming more than a biological strategy. It was becoming a human experience. As early human communities became more socially complex, emotional bonds likely became more layered. Imagine living in a small tribe of 20 to 30 individuals. You would see the same faces every day. You would hunt together, gather together, sleep near one another, and face danger side by side. In such close quarters, emotional connections would naturally intensify. Attraction would not only be about appearance or strength. It would be shaped by personality, humor, courage, generosity, and loyalty. Over time, humans began to recognize individual differences. One person might be brave in a hunt. Another might be gentle with children. Another might be skilled at making tools. These traits created admiration. Admiration created attachment. Attachment slowly formed what we now recognize as romantic preference. Language played a powerful role in this transformation. Early humans developed the ability to share stories, memories, and plans. With language came emotional storytelling. A man could describe his fears. A woman could express her dreams. Words allowed vulnerability. Vulnerability deepened connection. Even before full language developed, body language spoke volumes. Eye contact, facial expressions, tone of voice, posture all communicated emotional intent. A soft look across a firelit cave may have carried meaning thousands of years before poetry ever existed. Trust became central to love. In a dangerous world, trust meant survival. If your partner abandoned you during a hunt or failed to warn you of danger, the consequences could be fatal. So humans evolved to value dependability. Love grew around reliability. A partner who consistently shared food and protection became deeply valued. This is why generosity likely became attractive. Sharing food was not just kindness. It was commitment. When a hunter returned with meat and offered the best portion to someone specific, it may have been one of the earliest romantic gestures in human history. There is also evidence that humor existed among early humans. Laughter strengthens social bonds even today. A person who could lighten tension during hard times would be highly valued in a tribe constantly facing danger. Emotional resilience, the ability to stay calm during storms or predator threats, may have been one of the most attractive qualities of all. As humans migrated into colder climates, cooperation between partners became even more essential. Building shelters, sewing animal skins, maintaining fire, and caring for children required teamwork. Romance was not separate from daily life. It was woven into survival tasks. Love was built while working together. Archaeological discoveries suggest that symbolic thinking was emerging tens of thousands of years ago. Cave paintings, carvings, and decorated objects show that humans were beginning to see meaning beyond immediate survival. When someone carved a small figurine or painted an image on a cave wall, they were expressing imagination. That imagination likely influenced how they viewed relationships. Love began to hold symbolic value. Some prehistoric figurines, often interpreted as fertility symbols, show that reproduction and femininity were culturally significant, while interpretations vary. These objects suggest that attraction and fertility were understood and perhaps even celebrated. As tribes grew larger, social rules slowly emerged. These rules likely regulated mating and partnerships in small groups. Avoiding conflict was crucial. Informal agreements may have developed to prevent constant rivalry. This laid the groundwork for future marriage customs that would appear thousands of years later. Another fascinating aspect of early human love is the role of scent. Humans, like many mammals, are influenced by pheromones. Subtle biological signals can increase attraction between genetically compatible partners. Even without conscious awareness, early humans were likely guided by these invisible cues. Biology quietly shaped romance, yet biology alone does not explain long-term devotion. Devotion requires memory. Humans evolve strong memory systems. Shared experiences create emotional history. A couple who survived a harsh winter together would share a powerful bond formed through struggle. Shared hardship strengthens attachment even today, over generations. Humans developed the ability to imagine the future. This ability changed relationships dramatically. When you can imagine tomorrow, you can plan together. Planning requires commitment. Commitment strengthens pair bonds. Early humans who planned seasonal migrations or prepared for winter likely did so as cooperative units, reinforcing emotional stability. Death, unfortunately, was common in prehistoric life. Disease, injury, childbirth complications, and environmental dangers claimed many lives. Losing a partner would have been devastating not only emotionally but practically. Grief may have deepened appreciation for companionship. When life is fragile, connection becomes precious. The presence of ritual burials suggests that early humans understood permanence and loss. Some graves contain objects placed intentionally beside the deceased. This act implies remembrance. Remembrance implies love. Over time, as humans formed larger communities, alliances between groups became important. Partnerships may have also served diplomatic purposes, strengthening ties between tribes. Even then, personal attachment likely coexisted with social strategy. Love and practicality blended together. As agriculture emerged much later, love began to interact with property, inheritance, and social hierarchy, but before farms and cities. Relationships were simpler and more direct. They were built on daily interaction, shared labor, and emotional interdependence. One of the most powerful forces behind human love is vulnerability. Humans are born physically weak compared to many animals. Our survival depends on others from the very beginning. This dependence may have shaped our need for emotional closeness. We are wired to seek connection because isolation once meant death. Even today, loneliness activates pain centers in the brain. That ancient wiring likely developed during the earliest days of human evolution. Primitive humans who stayed bonded survived. Those who were rejected or isolated faced extreme danger. As generations passed, storytelling around firelight may have included tales of heroic partners, loyal mates, or tragic losses. These stories would reinforce cultural ideals about devotion and courage in relationships. Mythology and legend likely grew from real emotional experiences. While we often imagine prehistoric life as harsh and brutal, it also contained tenderness. A parent soothing a crying child. A partner cleaning a wound. Two individuals sitting quietly after a long day of gathering food. These moments may seem simple, but they represent the foundation of human intimacy. Love among primitive humans was not defined by luxury or comfort. It was defined by presence. Staying together through fear and uncertainty created bonds stronger than words. Modern science continues to uncover evidence that emotional capacity is deeply ancient. Brain structures responsible for attachment developed long before recorded history. This means that when we fall in love today, we are activating systems millions of years in the making. Our romantic gestures may have changed. We exchange rings instead of shells. We send messages instead of carving symbols. But the core experience remains the same: attraction, attachment, commitment, fear of loss, joy of connection.